starting a new transformation. This is Wrigley. Wrigley came to us. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but his fur is up. And so fur being up isn't always an indication of like bad things. But he came to us and his owner was, when we were talking on the phone, his owner was joking. He's like, all right, you're gonna need to do a case study video on this dog. Because this is a dog who apparently wants to attack anything. Now, this is not uncommon. When I say uncommon, it's not uncommon that a dog, you see his fur getting higher and higher, and now he's going into avoidance behavior. So I'm just showing you some body language here. So dogs, when they're stressed, they've got fight, flight, and avoidance. And so the closer this dog got, the more he, now he's going into avoidance. He's not dumb, he knows the dog's still there, but his fur is still way up. He's incredibly stressed out by this dog. And so anyways, this is the first time I've touched him. He's brand new to us. He just came in last night, you know, drove in from Idaho. And so we haven't worked with him yet. Now, were I the owner, he would be going nuts right now. And so this is, the fact that he's not going nuts has nothing to do with training at this point. And it has everything to do with relationship. And so oftentimes what we see in cases of aggression is that the relationship is off. You know, the relationship between dog and owner is not in balance. You know, the dog doesn't understand proper relationship. So if the dog's with the owner, oftentimes the dog's feeling so insecure that he feels the need to like be protective, or, you know, either of the owner or of himself, because he's not feeling leadership from the owner. No offense to the owners out there, you guys are great people, but these are the challenges we're working through. And so like I say, if he was with the owner, he'd be going crazy. He's not, because he doesn't have that relationship with me. I'm nobody to him. And so me holding this leash right now, he has no, you know, there's no leadership vacuum, there's no anything. And so what we're seeing is a little bit more of who he is without the influence of the owner. Now, who he is without the influence of the owner is still a dog that's very, very uncomfortable. So you see, as that dog just left the room, and as he did, he's like, oh yeah? I'm gonna kind of, you know, come show you how powerful I am. But the second the dog comes, you know, a little bit closer, that's when he went into avoidance, because with me, he's not feeling strong enough to actually attack and to be aggressive. So like I said, this isn't uncommon. You know, quite frequently someone drops the dog off, they leave, and the dog's not acting aggressive anymore. So the question comes in is, how can we fix this if we don't see the aggression? The answer is, it really all boils down to, see, you notice the dog came back in and he's right back by my side now. He's looking for some help. This is all insecurity. But what we need to do is we need to fix the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is a dog who is uncomfortable by other dogs and doesn't know how to process that. So for him, his fur goes up and he'll get aggressive. Or, you know, he goes into avoidance and moves away. So what we're gonna do, even though we won't be able to see the owner for the next 3-4 weeks because the owner's up in Idaho, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work heavy on this guy's obedience. We're gonna work heavy on this guy's focus, teach him how to focus on us, such that we can transfer that to the owner when he goes back to the owner. Meaning, he starts, you know, we start teaching him, hey, around dogs, because right now he's not being aggressive, he's definitely uncomfortable. But around dogs, I want you to pay attention to me. I want you to pay attention to me. I want you to pay attention to me. And again, we do this through obedience. And then when the owner comes back and we're going to work with him and show him, okay, here's how you get that same result. And what we're going to find in a situation like that is how it just essentially fixes the problem. You know, fix is kind of a funny word. You know, it's going to help fix / manage / help / improve the problem. Because really what's going on here is it's fundamental. You know, he doesn't think properly. He doesn't have good control over his thoughts and stuff like that. So yeah, stay with us. First thing I'm going to do here in a second is we're going to start working on teaching this dude how to focus. Bring him a little bit closer. All right, guys, so this is first session here with Mr. Wrigley. We're starting his transformation program today. Like I say, he came in last night. We're getting to work with him right away. And so his owner was jokingly saying, all right, this guy needs to be in a transformation of yours. And so there's aggression here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out the same way. If you've seen any of our other transformations or other case studies, you've seen me do this type of stuff, or Joe do this type of stuff. But I want to explain a little bit more in depth why we do it and what it leads to, and then kind of show you a little bit. So at its core, dogs are disobedient or make mistakes or do bad things or have bad behavior for three reasons. They've got focus problems, communication problems, or relationship problems. And so with aggression, relationship is often a big thing. But really where we typically start is with focus, because just about any dog that's out there that's dealing with some sort of aggression problem has a focus problem. So his owner explains that when they go on a walk, he's lunging, he's barking, he's trying to attack, he's, anything dog, he's going after it. And so if you see this dog on the street when he's doing that, his focus is 100% on that other dog, right? I mean, we can assume that because that's how most aggression is going to happen. And so if his focus is on that other dog, we know that he's not going to be a good boy. We know he's going to be aggressive. If his focus is on me, we know he will be a good boy. We know these things to be true because he can't be paying attention to me, looking at me, thinking about me, and attacking the dog at the same time. So these are two mutually exclusionary, is that a word? Two mutually things that exclude each other, is focus on me and attacking another dog. And so I know that I need to get the focus on me. But what I also know is because of his insecurity manifests itself in the form of, I see another dog and that makes me nervous. Maybe your dog is, I see another person, I see a cat, I see a kid, whatever it is. I see that thing, that trigger, and it makes me nervous. And so I know that I want to get the focus on me so that he can calm down, so he doesn't have to think, I have to solve this problem of other dogs. So right now there's no dogs around, there might be any minute, but for his first little bit, the first several days, we're going to be working him away from dogs, because we want to teach him the skill set of focus, and then we want to bring that skill set to where he has a problem. And this is important because we want to make sure that when you're doing this with your dog, whatever it is, aggression, anxiety, bad manners, whatever, we want to teach the concept and then apply it. There's teaching and there's proofing, and so we're just involved in the teaching right now. So we're going to be using an e-collar to start to teach the focus combined with some food. Now, a question that I've had a bunch of times is, well, why don't you just use the food? Because what I'm going to do here, let me explain it. I'm going to go really low, and I'm going to use some stimulation, and then as he pays attention to me, I'm going to give him food. Now, I don't know him. I don't know if he's going to want food or not, so we'll have to see. If he doesn't want food, I'm just going to use praise for now. But I'm going to use stimulation. Oh, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? What are you doing? So like I say, if he, I'm going to use some stimulation. I'm going to use the leash to encourage him to come. I'm going to give him food. And so I'm going to do this over and over and over. And so what's going to happen is this little stimulation is actually going to turn into somewhat of a positive, because he's going to feel it, and it is a little bit itchy, a little bit annoying. But he's going to start to realize, hey, when I feel that, on the opposite side, there's food. And so, he's going to actually start enjoying that as time goes on. But what it allows us to do later, which food cannot do at the same level, is later, as we're starting to teach him around those objects, around his triggers, around the areas where he struggles, and we start to say, okay, now that there's other dogs around, and he's like, well, I could really care less about food right now. You're a goofy dog, aren't you, buddy? And so when he doesn't care about food, because that's the biggest problem number one, right? Whenever I talk with someone, they're like, we've tried this trainer and the dog doesn't care about the food when he's being aggressive. We need to be able to cut through that. And so if the dog understands on a low level that this little stimulation means, hey, pay attention because I've got food, now I can kind of cut through it all and find the right level to where it's just enough to tap him on the shoulder, just enough to get his attention, to where even if there's other dogs around, even if there's other stuff around, that we can get him to pay attention to us. So like I say, food, which is great, isn't going to get you there, is not going to get that high enough level. So sometimes I start this on a long line. Just today, for whatever reason, we're starting on a short one. So I'm going to go very low because I can always up it if he's not feeling it. And so in fact, he's probably not going to feel this. Wrigley, come here. Ah, good boy. Good boy. Took him a second, but he took the food. I'm using hot dogs. I like hot dogs. They're cheap. It's protein. Yeah, there's a little bit of salt in there, but probably the same amount you're going to find in any treats, and it's way cheaper than treats. So I'm going to use a little bit of stimulation. Good boy! It's taking him a minute to smell that. A little bit of stimulation. Come here. Good boy! Good boy! I think he actually might be feeling it. So just for reference, in case you've ever used one of these tools, I'm on a level 4. 4 is basically imperceptible. Like you could put 4 on like your inner thigh and you wouldn't feel 4. Not that you should be putting things like this on your inner thigh. Or go ahead, I don't care. Come here. Good boy! Good boy! So all I'm doing is I'm holding it down, using the leash to guide him to me, and as he comes, he gets food. So little hold. Come here. Good boy! As he comes, he gets food. Good boy! Oh, you're a good boy! You see, I'm already starting to get a little bit of engagement that I haven't even asked for. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention. So when he does that, I call it found behavior. I'm just gonna give him a reward. So a little stim. Come here. Good boy! Good boy! Oh, there you go. Good boy! So in the beginning, it's as simple as this. Now, but it's not necessarily intuitive. I don't know any people that like just one day woke up and they're like, here's what I'm gonna do with an e-collar. And this is one of the reasons e-collars get a bad name, is because what's intuitive is to say, I don't like what you're doing, bam, 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 bam. We don't wanna do that because we wanna teach them what to do instead. No, you don't get a jump. You're funny. So a little stim, come here. Good. And so what I'm doing is the second he starts to come, I release the button. So what will happen, over the course of the next few weeks is we'll stop using food. Because food right now is to teach, it's to create a nice association. But we're gonna stop using food. And then we're just gonna be using the e-collars. But long term, in fact, I'm gonna do it now because there's a dog off camera. Come here, good boy! There's a dog off camera, but it's not too close to where it's really, really stressing him out. So we're choosing a threshold to where it's just enough that he can pay attention to me. Come here. Come here. Good boy. So you may or may not be able to notice on camera, but every time he starts to come, my finger lifts up. And so like I say, what happens is as time goes on, we're not using food and we're just using the e-collar and praise and our relationship and things like that. And then as time goes on, I call it muscle memory. So like, for example, like the way you put your pants on in the morning, you don't have to think about it. But if you change it a little bit, so let's say you always put your right leg in first, try tomorrow to put your left leg in first. It feels really weird because muscle memory is a real thing. And so the dog becomes so conditioned, so accustomed to not acting foolish, that the e-collar no longer is necessary. Now, we do tell our clients to kind of keep it because long term, you'll need to bring it back from time to time for touch-up. But long term, this is not something that he's gonna have to wear day in, day out. So a little stim, come here, come here, good boy, good boy. So like I say, simple as that in the beginning, and we're just gonna progress from there. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Oh, there's some aggression. Come here, come here, good boy. So as he was acting aggressive, he gave a little bit of a half-hearted bark. Come here, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, good boy. I want to start teaching him that he needs to pay better attention to me because I'm the guy with the food. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. So like I say, we put him in a threshold that's just enough to kind of stress him out, and we're working him through it. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good boy. So I'm working a little bit on our step back recall. Come here, come here. Good. So I'm letting him feel stressed, not because I'm mean. Come on. Although my kids say I'm mean. Good, come here, come here. They do say, Dad, you're mean. But because I want to make things real for him. And so now that he's learning about that the e-collar and the food means to come. Come here, come here, come here. Good. Good boy! Come on, you're so smart. You're so smart. So now he's actively starting to choose avoidance.
Yeah.
because he's realizing that the fight doesn't work. So dogs, when they're stressed, they've got fight, flight, and avoidance. He's choosing fight. And when I start taking that away, come here. Oh, good boy. By saying, no, you can't do that. In fact, you have to come to me. The only thing left is flight and avoidance. And so he's starting to choose flight, or no, he's not choosing flight. He's starting to choose avoidance, where he's like, let me just pretend it's not here. Let's get you a little bit closer.
Yeah,
so even as the dog approaches, he's already starting to choose avoidance. You're a smart little dude.
I'm gonna walk past you here.
So if I see him start to amp up a little bit, come here, good boy. Let me get his attention back on me. I need to give him a way to cope. I need to give him a way to feel okay. Good boy. Now his avoidance isn't 100% okay, but it's way better than fight.
Yeah.
And avoidance leads to feeling okay. Come on. So now he's making a good choice, and so, good boy. So as he does, he gets rewarded, and sure enough, nothing bad happens over here. And so this is the very beginning. As he progresses, he's gonna start to realize, you know what, I don't need to act foolish and go barking, and I also don't even need to go into avoidance. I can just coexist. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're gonna get from this guy.
All right, why don't you call him away, and what I want you to do is just kind of walk through the group with your leash. Kind of create space the first little bit. Yeah, just as dogs like come up to them. So why don't you call them that way? Yep. Come guys, come. Gidget, come.
Yep. So we'll do manners training.
Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. So I use these dogs a lot, and I feel like they kind of know the drill. When a dog comes in on a leash, kind of give them a little bit of space. Ariel, give her space. Good. Good job, Ariel. Good boy. Okay, come on. Good boy. Good. Good job, babe. Get it. Come on. I know you did. You did so good, pup. Good job. There's your sitting right. Sniff.
Tula, come.
Good. Come on.
Good girl.
Good. That was good.
Good.
He's having some good interactions. He's wanting to engage. Good. I'm not letting him dwell too long, so I'm going to let him sniff. He wants to sniff Rex. And then I'm going to come, call him away. Good. Good boy. Good. So now that we're off leash, we want to keep him moving. Come. So I'm going to use a little bit of e-collar. Come on. Come on. If he dwells too long and I'm not able to pull him out of a situation, I'm going to use a little bit of e-collar. Good. Good job. Come on. Come on, yay. Good boy.
Oh, thanks, Rex.
Come. Good boy. Good job, Rex. Wrigley, come on. Good boy. Good. Good job, Rex. Okay, I think I'm going to call this good. I'm going to end on a good note so that he remembers this.
Tula,
Being a good thing.
Rex, come. Good job.
Okay, so my goal with Wrigley is just to start shaping the off leash. So he like was so new to a lot of stuff when he first got here. He didn't know how to heel. He didn't know what down meant. He didn't know place. He knew how to sit. And so what we're trying to do with him is just move away from the leash. The leash gives a lot of dogs information. You know, if I pull up on it, they sit. If I pull down on it, they lay down. If I pull them to the side, they get in the heel. It just gives them a ton of information. Does that feel good, buddy? And so what I want to do is give him less information with the leash, so that way he can start shaping it so we don't have to have the leash on him and he's still going to do the obedience. Boy, okay, good job. Good boy. Wriggly, down. Good. Is that what you think down is? Good, right there. Good boy. Okay. Good boy. Good job. Wriggly, heel. Good. So again, not a ton of information with the leash. Good boy. Down. Good. Good. Okay. Good job. Good job. Good. Wriggly, come. Place. Good job. Good boy. Okay. Yay. Good boy. Good job.
All right, so we're getting towards the end of our transformation here with Wrigley. And he is as goofy as can be.
Yay.
And so, so you've kind of seen, you know, over the course of the past few weeks, we've worked a lot on obedience. We've worked a lot on the step back recall. You saw us do the step back recall earlier in the transformation.
Okay.
And it's typically from these two things that we see the biggest results. Getting this off-leash level of obedience. Hey buddy, wrong guy.
Good.
Getting this off-leash level of obedience, getting a dog who pays attention and listens, getting a dog who puts us first ahead of their own desires. Because like I say, we know his desires. His desires were to be aggressive and to attack other dogs. And so he needs to put ours first. So we've got a dog now who listens off leash, who pays attention off leash, who we've done the step back recall with. And now as a result, we've got a dog who doesn't do that stuff anymore. You know, he's just kind of goofy and fun, but you know, not aggressive towards other dogs anymore. And so here in a second, we're going to bring in some dogs just for him to kind of be around and hang out with, just so you can kind of see, like, ultimately, you know, the before and after. Because like I say, before, he was barking and going nuts and blah, blah, blah. And now he can coexist with other dogs just fine.
Good job. Good. There we go. Wriggly down. Good down. Come.
All right, so kind of showing, you know, how far this guy's come. Like I said, in the very beginning, I think you guys saw him on day 1 or day 2 when he was lunging at everybody. And now he's seeing dogs play, and now he's got other dogs around. And he's able to deal with it.
Good.
Sometimes he even wants to play with other dogs, but oftentimes he's just able to, like, coexist normally.
Good.
There we go.